Maneva na say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
How he is sort of warning people not to go onto those sites again.
Yes.
Because of their own whatever it is, you know, for the sake of God or something like that. That's what he said.
Let me be very clear.
Yes, please be clear.
See, there's a legislative aspect which you have, kind of looked at. That's perhaps the easy one.
Yeah.
There are other aspects. There's the defense, there's even the internal security aspect, there's the economic aspect, there's the environmental aspect, and so on.
Fantastic.
Then there is also that which kind of like incidentals, for example, the water tariff issue that I mentioned.
Right.
And then the overall and overarching thing is the existential threat, which is going to kill all of us.
Right.
There are issues about birth defects, deformities, and unborn children, and so on, which is affecting the unborn, and the very like life in its entirety. That some let's say the environment is generally being degraded and destroyed. It will take us a lot of time. There's even money that has to be put into bringing the trees back. There's the rainfall patterns that are going to change and all that. We are better off tracking small gold and getting good value than mining so much and getting low.
Friends, I agree with all of this.
The other thing is that you are able to now identify. This is not able to identify the people. You see the big fishes. Listen, you see, you go and catch the small boys. You catch some small money. There's some big people over there who are doing bigger things with the money. So with the gold ball thing, you cannot have traceability, and you can catch the big fishes. Then there's the FIC. You see, the intelligence agency. I don't need to reveal everything on set. The Financial Intelligence Center. You know what they do? They can trace and track bank accounts. How do you think they caught the guy who was buying mansions everywhere? Most of these people are putting their wealth, hiding their wealth in real estate and in land and so on. There's a whole lot going on behind the scenes. It's just a matter of days, a matter of weeks, a matter of months, and the whole thing will collapse. I cannot divulge so much, but I can tell you that the fight is on. And I can tell you, if we all put our trust in John Mahama and his commitment, look, there are some NDC elements who are involved. They will be arrested just like MPP elements. And I think that nobody should defend or attempt to say anything in defense of anybody. That is the work of the Minister for Lands. You remember, he said it categorically.
No, I agree with you.
And I think that people should not misread Muntaka's statements also. There are different ministries.
No, but the statement was powerful.
But I think that the Chinese, I'm saying that the deportation of the Chinese people and so on. Personally, I don't agree with everything. I think that every human being who is wrong must be tried in Ghana. That's my I'm not the government. That is what the law says. I am not the government. That's what the law also allows for deportation.
The law allows for deportation.
Yes.
After prosecution.
Not necessarily. Not
necessarily. But you see, there's, I think, is it Article 20 something? I've forgotten. Right? Which highlights how foreigners who have committed offenses within our countries must be handled. And so it is clear that Galamsey being an illegal act.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Which is obviously frowned upon by the laws of this country. If one commits that offense, that person must be subjected to the laws of this country.
I think Galamsey is equivalent to murder.
Absolutely.
And therefore, it is untenable for them to just be deported. But somebody told me something that when such persons are deported to China, they are killed. I don't know. If it is true, then it means that maybe Ghana is excusing itself, doing the death sentence thing, allowing their country to do them the honor. But be that as it may, I think that the deportation of murderers, criminals of that level, is untenable. That's my personal position on this. I think, and I agree with you, that ideally, and I'm saying ideally, we should repeal the entire law and make a new set of law. However, rather than create a vacuum, if you can remove the bad aspects systematically and carry the people along as it's being done, it is not bad. Let us not, rush. Is it 100 days already?
Yes, it is.
And how many days has the ministers been in place? 100 days for the president? How many days for the ministers? So let us not, you see, the president alone cannot do everything. The ministers have just gone into ministries and departments are headed by MPP people. They are trying to remove these people and people are resisting. And look, someone like, what's his name? Aish, the one who granted the license, but he's still there, right? He's still there. Why are the MPP people and the CSOs not complaining that Aish must be removed? But when the president is trying to get his people on the ground, boots on the ground, people of like mind to act decisively and on time, then people
to Mano sent in this one. That's his opinion. Why?
That's his opinion.
We can't gag people from. But I want to move to another topic.
Just I think in fairness.
Right.
First with the Muntaka area.
Yes, sir.
He's in charge of interior.
Absolutely.
Which includes border security.
Absolutely.
So he knows what he's doing when it comes to border security. Maybe he just wants to reset and make sure that nobody comes in like in the past when Aish was able to come in under President Akufo-Addo, who said he didn't know how she came in. Muntaka, given the opportunity with the immigration, should be able to deal with that decisively. With the new heads that he has no excuse. Number two is that he's changed the police commanders in regions, and that includes divisional and district commanders and regions where the Galamsey thing is going on. Are you aware? That was one of the pronouncements.
He's asked that they be transferred.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a positive.
Regional commanders.
Is that positive?
Depending on how you look at it.
No, hold on. You see, you've been critical of the man. I think that where the man has gotten it right, also you must be same, even-handed. You see,
we can make that determination. We can make that determination if the change yields the results we're looking for. I can't sit here and make a determination about the decision.
He says, for example, he prefers the deportation of these criminals who are engaged in Galamsey, who are foreigners. He prefers that. Maybe because our courts are going to be busy with a lot of criminal cases of our own, people who have looted and so on. I mean, already discontinuation of court cases to ease these courts, specialized courts being asked for Galamsey and all that. Specialized fast-track courts, tribunals are being asked for. I mean, the volume of scandals and people who need to be, prosecuted for the loot recovered for Ghana to move will require a lot of freeing. I don't want to, argue with him on that. He has the power. He's chosen the path. But changing of the commanders is instructive. We saw military men together with the Delta Force and Invisible Forces on video in Tonto Krom, in one of Galamsey exposés by Erastus, which means that military men are compromised. Same with police. Now he's saying that the police commanders, you've been given an opportunity over a long period to fight Galamsey, you've not been able to do it. It is possible you're compromised. Whether you're compromised or not, go. Now the new ones that come.
We are looking for a way out. All right?
Yes.
Every institution has a role to play. Their roles are specifically spelled out. We are only saying that if we are so committed to dealing with the issue of Galamsey, then we must trigger the security institutions or the security authorities.
Can you mention the names and I can help you with the names?
You are not getting. I'm still missing the point. Anyway, let's move on. Good morning.
All those people. How many of them can be arrested today? Will you support the police and the BNI and so on to arrest them? Will you support the MPP to resist?
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying. Please, let's.
What are you talking about?
One of the serious things that we must do about the law. Exactly. Everybody can be arrested. Let's not create that. So let us start resisting the military force and others who are resisting arrests. Look. That is a starting point. Let's not create the impression that everybody is about the law. Everybody in this country can be arrested. But resist and in spite of the resistance, the person must be arrested. So the Ghanaians must resolve that NDC or NPP. We don't need that. That's why we don't need that. Do your job. No, Prince. Let's not create the impression that somebody is about to arrest. Everybody can be arrested.
What have you done? What to prove that Ghanaians are backing or are not supporting the government to go after Intim for you?
No statistics evidence. Hold on. But let's make sure that anybody that can be arrested. It is up to the government. What happens when let the government arrest the person and everybody can be arrested? Let's go to Yes.
Let's focus on the topic.
Let's proceed.
This man wants to just
no, but it's a fact. What have you done? No one is above arrest in this country.
Good morning, lawyer and your panel. Galamsey must be stopped immediately, as promised by the president, and take time to deal with the situation. The deportation of the Chinese men and women is absolutely uncalled for. But jailing poor Ghanaians, if they arrest the small fishes, they should interrogate them and arrest the big fishes.
Yes.
And bring them to face the law.
My name is Kojo Menu. Kojo Menu, thank you very much.
Impunity.
Thank you very much, Kojo Menu, for your wonderful message. I appreciate it.
And listen,
Garbage should be arrested.
if
Good
there's
morning.
evidence for their arrest, they should be arrested.
Please, can I read my messages?
Report.
Let
They
me.
must be arrested.
Oh, Prince, please. Good morning to you, Pan-African team. Please, Ghana is gradually and quietly getting to the Rwandan genocide.
I'm telling you.
Whatever was bad yesterday should be bad today.
Yes.
But is that what we see today? No. First class and second class politicians make hate speeches. No action is taken to deter the youth. If you see a guy and a big man hit him with an object on the head, nothing happened to the person who made that speech. Look at Ameswale's photo and beat him. The next moment he was killed. If you see MPP man and NDC man fighting, join the MPP man and beat the NDC man. Nothing happened. In Rwanda, a tribe was insulted and that resulted into genocide. Go to Isawam today and listen to the youth. Time bomb. When it happens, the security experts, security analysts, and whatnot will show up, making unnecessary noise. See what has started in our SHS today. It is becoming serious. Ajin Asare from Kuforidia sent in this message. Brilliant, fantastic point. Thank you. God bless you.
So let's arrest
Alhaji Hamza in Pig Farm says, good morning to you, my brother. Truth be told, we cannot afford to fail in this fight against Galamsey, else the good people of this country will not forgive us.
Sure.
The promise we made to Ghanaians during the campaign was we were going to revoke LI 2462,
Exactly.
but not amend it. So this LI 2462 should be revoked.
Exactly.
I need your advice here. What is stopping the government from declaring a state of emergency in areas Galamsey is taking place? My brother, this is act of terrorism against the state. And for that matter, the government should not treat these Galamseyers with kid gloves. According to Honorable Muntaka, Galamseyers are not being prosecuted when they are arraigned before the court of law. This is sad to hear, my brother. This is from Alhaji Hamza.
Yes.
Alhaji Hamza in Pig Farm. This one says, please tell Prince to behave himself. We don't want him to behave like Sakasalia. Okay, please. What is this? Read it. Read the last. Read it. Please. Tell Prince to behave. I've always been the victim, so I'll read it. Why would I conclude the message? I'm telling you, people are listening to the show. This morning, we will make one. Good morning, Anyway,
he said, please.
Allow praise to flow. He speaks our mind. The corrupt officials must be arrested. Musa from Tamale. This one will be right up. Come in. Don't mind NDC. They are talkatives. They can never fight Galamsey. I personally am disappointed the way His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his government are approaching matters. So many investigations have gone. From where you sit, okay, looking at the commodities that we usually export, the revenues that we generate thereof from those exportations that we do, right? And the import, and also what we call the agua. You know, we have this agua agreement, which allows for some commodities. Yes, act which allows for some commodities to be exported to the United States of America tax free, right? And the importance of that to the manufacturing sector in Ghana. So there's some interconnectedness which I want us to link and see how through that we'll be able to perhaps, if not necessarily retaliating by way of either tariff measures or NTMs, non-tariff measures, right? But inwardly looking at how we can expand, you know, for instance, industrialization, mixing that with trade policies so that we can create agro parks and have economic opportunities regionally. How we can trade amongst ourselves regionally so that we can, you know, take advantage of the markets that already exist. Prince.
Yeah, thank you.
The world is not static. Geopolitics, as we've come to know it, changes with not just change in leadership across countries of the world. For example, Trump has come with his things which are affecting us here. And John Mahama has come with policies, hopefully, that would have corrected the situation even before these new ones were brought in. Until recently, we didn't have the BRICS which is the Brazil, Russia, China, India, South Africa, and so on. But Ghana has always been a non-aligned country, and I think that non-aligned movement concept needs to be looked at very critically in these times. We don't have to have our apron strings necessarily tied to America, and therefore if America decides to go bonkers like is happening under Trump, we don't have to necessarily say we are tied to the West and therefore will not do business with Russia or China and so on. We must do business with the whole world. We have no choice. We are not an island. And so I like the first initiative that Okujeto Ablakwa, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, has introduced, that is getting our embassies to have KPIs, that's performance indices, that will be given to every new ambassador and his team to pursue, which would include, among others, ensuring that there's foreign direct investments in Ghana across the world. And I think it's going to be a significant change. It's like, you may not see it in the immediate as something that's big, but when it's all put together, aggregated. And I'll use one small example. There was an attempt by the previous administration to export some nurses to one of those tax havens. I can't remember the name readily. But the idea of exporting nurses are already, leaving our shores, okay? And when they go, some, because it's not regulated, some end up doing non-nursing services or are cheated and so on. But if it is regulated and we are exporting our nurses, then we can actually produce more nurses. So we should not just look at trading and traditional issues. We should look at even the human resource. Our best resource, like Ghanaians, our best resources are ourselves, the human beings. Now, if we are able to train with the hub being Ghana, we're looking at more than $1 trillion per year, flow of, goods and services and so on. Money. That is what Japan was essentially doing. That's what UK was essentially doing. They weren't producing very much, but because of the financial nerve centers, and even Singapore to some extent, they've been able to develop their countries on the back of the flow of cash and being the hub of kind of global business. And so if the continental business would happen with Ghana as a center, we can only but move our country forward in a very big way. And I think that, the trade fair center was supposed to be the original place. Unfortunately, the lands have been hived off, sold, and done. It's been messed up real bad. The convention center, however, seems to be coming up. But I think that the government needs to put its eye on that whole mess that was created. Clean up the mess, get that place going, and have AFTA headquartered properly and structured. We know also from the AFTA people that a lot of the monies that was supposed to have been put into AFTA had been misappropriated. And I think that an investigation must be launched, and this must be done transparently so that it's not like a witch hunt. We must see that everything that AFTA deserves is given, because it potentially could be a game changer. Then we have the AU in itself. I think that Ghana plays a very big role, and I think that if you look at the Black Star experience that this government is trying to put forward, it fits into getting Africa as the home of all the blacks and the diasporans wanting to come back, having Ghana as the center. That in itself, if you look at the Panafest, if you look at what the MPP also tried to do, the homecoming and the year of return, year beyond the return and so on, the Black Star experience is much bigger in terms of getting all the, that kind of people who align with, relate to, or want to have some experience of the blackness or the historical thing. If it's captured properly, like it's been captured now, if it's executed very well, that also potentially could bring in a lot of hard currency and sort of cushion the effect of what Trump is doing. And I want us to not look at the tariffs as though it's a killer. That in itself is very deliberate about its things, and the only unfortunate thing is that it's not getting, the kind of support and the kind of inertia that is already developing because of the political, undercurrents of the MPP. trying to, impede the government at every stage is not going to help us. But we want to have self-sufficiency. That's the first thing. The cardinal point of every, human being is food, clothing, and shelter. That's first. And then employment, health, and recreation to buttress it. This government is putting all of these things in place by changing the face of various industries. You look at even the energy sector. The energy sector has been brought in to include what? Green energy. We are looking at solar. We have sand. We have the technology. We need to partner with countries to do these things. And if we are able to have a very well-defined way of moving ourselves, one, if we are self-sufficient, if you and I were more of these African, thank you, I don't know, but we must be able to gauge the percentage of African and homegrown things. Yeah, I'm saying that even in this studio, I know your suit was made in Ghana. We have people who made, I can see a horseshoe, horseman things and all that. If we can all have things made by Ghanaians in Ghana, we will not need the dollars. Our economy will not be affected by what Trump does or anybody does, but we must also network globally. And I think we're on the right path already.
Well, thank you very much, Prince. Ken William, again, if I don't read this message, you'll kill me. Who wanted to use, government must declare a state of emergency without any excuses for further delay. The illegal miners have become bold and daring because the government is too lenient with them. Why arrest the miners without going for their employers who continue to sponsor and arm them with guns and equipment? Some of us are not comfortable with the laissez-faire attitude of government when the illegal miners continue to have a field day. #action now. This one is from Koblavi Benghazi. NDC party leaders should think about what is happening since President John Mahama became president. There has been fire, disasters, Boko war, airplane filled with cocaine case, loss of ECG containers, and also our vice president is not well. These things are not normal. These calamities are coming from the camp of the opposition to destroy President Mahama. So I'm urging NDC Party Council of Elders to do something about it before it becomes worse.
That's I believe I think the market fires are ascent.
Okay. Good morning to you. I'm Francis from Tamale. Why is the government finding it difficult to declare a state of emergency in Galamsey areas? Why is it that they equally find it difficult to repeal the airline that attracts majority of Ghanaians' interest? Do they stand to lose anything if they take action accordingly in these areas? See, the government was gaining trust when they took off, but these two issues are beginning to raise doubts in the minds of Ghanaians regards government's willingness to quickly fight Galamsey. Thank you, sir, for your message. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this one says, deporting foreign Galamseyers is wrong. They must send them to court and jail them if they are found guilty. Eric, please don't defend the minister for arresting and deporting. If you allow foreigners to be deported, then Ghanaian nationals should also be handed over to the chief of his community to also punish them. And the court will be there for those who steal cassava and bulls and goats. From James, thank you. This one says, please, may I suggest the government must totally ban Galamsey. Then they can start new modalities for proper gold mining. NDC cannot continue from where MPP left it to achieve new and good results. Thanks. Thank you very much for your message this morning. You didn't add your name. Good morning to you. Ben Avugla is on President Adjei. He says you can't even talk about in team forgery resisting arrest. In Ghana, nobody is above the law, so they can't resist the law. Joe Ayamga says, please, what are we really waiting to get rid of the Galamseyers? The people voted massively for us because of these atrocities. Ban Galamsey now. This one says, good morning to you, KOD. Good morning to you, KOD. It is sad that members of parliament have now reduced their position to nothing. Gone are the days when parliamentarians speak. There is wisdom, power, and substantiated truth. These days, parliamentarians reduce themselves to common whistleblowers. Suglu K. Ibrahim sent in this one. This one also says, good morning to you, KOD. Is President Derick Adjei telling us that the government is weak and can't arrest wrongdoers? We must be serious. From Kwesi, Biakoye district.
I said this one, MPP is protecting and preventing arrest of people who the security services are going after.
Right.
And we must all encourage the security services to arrest them.
Very well. Good morning to you, KO. The Immigration Act 2000, Act 573, suggests that if a foreigner comes to cause threats to our national security, like the Galamsey menace, such persons should be punished, even terms in prison, after which they should be deported. Now, the Chinese and Indians do not know the locations of the forest reserves and where the goals are. NDC and NPP are the worst nightmare of Ghanaians. They have done well to polarize Ghanaians to their advantage. And here we are with this Galamsey matter.
Yes, just an appeal. I mean, even La is not cool.
Yeah.
Even La is not cool. Sure. There are some people trying to, as it were, foment trouble. And I think that we must nip it in the bud in these early stages. I wish the Boku one had been nipped in the early stages. It's developed into something that could potentially destabilize the whole country. Our northern borders are not safe. Insurgency from Burkina and so on, Galamsey, and the discovery of gold notwithstanding. I want to appeal to our brothers that they should let peace be. We saw what happened when the IGP went there. He did his best, and yet some people did their worst. I understand 2 policemen were shot yesterday, and 1 other person was killed and burnt. These must not be the signs of our time. Please, let's give peace a chance.
Derick, I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.